British government has at last recognised the state of Palestine, joining more than 147 UN member states in doing so. But Britain remains an active participant in the erasure of the Palestinian people. Given Britain's historic role in the settler colonisation of Palestine dating back to 1917, Keir Starmer's move is significant, but it only comes after one of the largest and most consistent protest movements of the 21st century mobilised millions of people to demand action to halt the Gaza genocide. For as long as Keir Starmer, David Lammy and their cabinet continue to abet Israel's slaughter, recognition will be little more than a fig leaf to save face. On the same day that Keir Starmer made his announcement, the Israeli military killed at least 25 members of the same family in the Sabra neighbourhood of Gaza City. This strike may well have been carried out with the F-35 fighter jet, one of only 3 aircraft that Israel uses to pummel Gaza. As a Tier 1 partner in the US-led F-35 construction programme, Britain manufactures at least 15% of each F-35 warplane, and Israel at present only possesses 45 of them. This contribution involves at least 75 companies up and down the British Isles and places Britain at the heart of Israel's war machine. In September 2024, when the British government announced a limited suspension of 30 out of roughly 350 arms licences to Israel, it carved out an exception for F-35 components, citing national security concerns. Stopping the flow of F-35 components to Israel would, according to British Defence Secretary John Healey, undermine US confidence in the UK and NATO at a critical juncture in our collective history and set back relations. In order to appease Washington, British ministers continue to ignore their obligations to comply with international humanitarian law. What's more, the UK retains an active eye above Gaza as Israel starves its population. Al Jazeera recently established that Britain has conducted 47% of all surveillance flights over the Gaza Strip in the last 23 months. That's more than the State of Israel itself has flown. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Defence is considering awarding a £2 billion 15-year contract to Elbit Systems. Elbit supplies 85% of the drones used by the Israeli military and has been directly implicated in war crimes committed in Gaza. Whitehall knows it's complicit in Israel's crimes, and they're determined to cover it up. Foreign Office whistleblower Mark Smith, who previously worked for the UK government in assessing the legality of the licensing of arms exports to Israel, says he was routinely asked to amend his reports to, quote, make them sound less bad, including by downplaying civilian deaths. Quote, there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations on the most controversial aspects of our arms sales policy, which will never be seen by the public, Smith has said. For as long as F-35 components leave British shores, for as long as Britain continues to fly surveillance flights over Gaza, for as long as Elbit Systems are financed with our tax money, Keir Starmer's recognition of Palestine is an empty gesture.